Hello everyone, welcome back to the violin build. In a comment someone asked how do I sharpen my gouges, so that's what I'm going to show you in this video. Alright, let's get started. Alright, I'm going to show you how I sharpen my gouges. I'm using diamond plates, and I also use 1500 grit wet dry paper. And sometimes I'll switch over to 600 grit if it's if the edge is kind of bad and needs it. So these are 400 grit, 600 grit. If your edge is really bad, you can start with the 400 and work your way up through the grits. 1000 and 1200. These are inexpensive on Amazon. For the price, they're surprisingly good quality. You could spend a lot of money on much more expensive ones, better quality, but these are sufficient for sharpening gouges. So the thing about sharpening gouges is you've got a curved edge or curved bevel. So the technique, I hand sharpen. I don't use a machine with a wheel or anything. The difficult part is keeping a steady angle. Let me get maybe a better camera shot. Hold on. Maybe that angle is better. Okay. So I came up with a way to maintain an exact angle, because if you're hand sharpening, it's too easy to go one way or the other and change the bevel. So you want to maintain an exact angle. And as you're going back and forth across the stone, you're twisting the blade like this in a back and forth motion. So I'll show you the jig that I made to ensure that the angle stays steady. So this is my jig. It's just a flat piece of plywood, and let me get the 1000. So I made these strips just wide enough to fit the sand plate in between them. And this ridge here, this board here, is you'll notice that the gouge handles fit right on that, and that holds the gouge at that angle, and it will maintain that same angle throughout the sharpening process. So that's how I do it. I just rub it back and forth on the diamond plate, slowly turning it like that as I go. The plate, to avoid wearing a line in the plate, you can slide the plate forwards or backwards like that. These gouges that I have, these are Swiss made feel or file. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but they have the same blade length, so they're all going to have the same bevel. And so this height will work well for those. An improvement that I thought maybe I could make is to make this adjustable height, and that way you could raise the bevel or lower it. So that's basically how I do it. And after I get done sharpening on the diamond stone, then I'll switch over to this 1000 is about as high as I'll go on the diamond stone. Then I'll switch over to 1500 wet dry paper, and I'll continue doing sharpening on this paper. And what that does is it raises a burr just inside the edge on the inside curve. And the way I handle that is I take a dowel, which of course has to be smaller than the curve of the chisel, or the gouge, not the chisel. I wrap 1500 grit paper around that, and then slide it across like this to remove the burr. And then the final step is a strop on a leather strop. I have these polishing stropping compounds. I always use the green, that's the finest. And so just, I'm not particular about the angle, but I can kind of feel the angle. So I don't use a jig or anything. I just rub it on the polishing on the strop like that. And you'll get a razor sharp edge by doing that. So that's basically it. That's how I sharpen my gouges. I hope you find it useful. So there's one other thing I guess I could. I sharpen plane blades a little bit differently. Hang on, I'll show you that. Oh, before I go to the plane blade, this is my antique gouge. This is the one that I use. I put some black ink on it so I could see where it was rubbing on the stone. So ignore that. But anyway, this is the one that I use for roughing out, especially on maple. And I get a good edge on that too. So, all right, I'll talk a little bit about plane blades. I'll be right back. Okay, for plane blades, I use one of these blade holder things. It has a roller on it, and you place the blade in it like that, and then tighten it up. I made a couple of blocks of slightly different size. You can see one is shorter than the other, and that helps me establish a specific angle on the plane blade, so I can place the blade against the stop like that, push this up to it, and then tighten it. And the way this works depends on how dull the blade is, whether you start with 600 grit or 1500, or if it's really bad, you could start with a coarser grit. So basically, you just set the plane blade down on there and rub it back and forth. I could use the diamond plates for this as well. Not sure. I don't usually use the diamond plates. I usually just use sandpaper, but the diamond plate would work as well. And then, of course, on the plane blade, you want to make sure the back is flat. So you would take it out of the holder and place the flat side on the diamond plate or the sandpaper, and just slide it back and forth a little bit like that. So to get the backside smooth. So that one needs sharpening. So anyway, that's how I sharpen gouges and plane blades. All right, I hope you found this useful, and stay tuned for the violin build.